Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter here. I am super excited because this has been an over $400 sales day. It's been one of those days, folks. Even my swag has swag today. And I'm going to show you how one of those big sales today that contributed to the bulk of that $400 plus total happened. And it occurred through a negotiation technique that I use every once in a while when it's appropriate to do so. I've talked about it once a long time ago, and since so much time has passed, I'm going to bring it up again because you may be able to use it as well. So what is in this box is what sold today for $350. What's inside of here? Well, this is the content of a video that I had shown you probably a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago or so. It was called how to increase your display space for photography if you have a lot of items and you don't have a lot of room. And so I showed you how to expand this big table by putting 2 leaves inside of it. And then I showed you a creative technique if you run out of table space of ways you could increase display space on the back. And that was because what we had to display was, I'll show you what's in here if you haven't guessed it already, or if you didn't see the video, but this is 86 wrestling DVDs. So I showed a lot of them in that video if you want to go see the titles and stuff, but you know, the WWF, WWE, and some WCW and stuff like that. But it's mostly a WWF, WWE lot. But it's really cool, a lot of WrestleMania and stuff in there. It's amazing. So this all comes from a purchase that was made on Craigslist for $50. As soon as I saw the ad, I knew I had to get it. Now, it's interesting because the guy who sold it to me eventually found me on YouTube recently and started interacting in the comments. So I don't know if he's going to see this video, but Humble Bumble, thank you very much. That's his handle name. Thank you very much for making the deal. This was awesome, especially something that was useful to have up and list when people were searching for, and still are searching for, things to entertain themselves, if they're staying inside more and not going out as much during the whole quarantine and stuff. So basically what happened, and to get to the technique, is that a person this morning sent me an offer of $325 for these DVDs. Now, I had them up for $375. So I know what you're going to think. You think I'm going to say, well, so okay, prime time, you're going to tell us again about the meet in the middle strategy, and you sent them an offer of $350 and said meet in the middle, and that's fair, and that's the psychology, right? Wrong. That is what I did, but here's the problem. That person never wrote me back. Now, that was this morning. Sometimes, when you send out these counter offers, a person might think about it for a while. Maybe they don't get the message till later. And then next thing you know, they decline it. Next thing you know, they accept it. Maybe they send a counter offer. But I don't know what the reason was, but the person hadn't got back. And it had been like 8 hours or so. Okay, so I'm just waiting and waiting. And next thing you know, another offer comes in. This one comes in for $275. So now we've got a $100 difference. So what do I do there? Do I just meet the person in the middle? And if I do that, that's not going to quite get me where I want to be. So that's a lesson, is that I don't always do meet in the middle. It depends on the situation. So in this situation, I already have the knowledge that somebody else offered me $325. So what I do in this situation, and it's real important, you have to be ethical about this. You can't make stuff up. I mean, you can, but it's not the right thing to do. So only use this technique when you really have somebody who sent you another offer. So what I do is I play them against each other, or I play one against the other. So in this case, what I did is I counter offered the person at $350 or $349.99. And I include a message. And I say, hello, thanks for your offer. I said, I already received an offer earlier today for $325. I sent out a counter offer for $350, just like the one I have sent you. Whoever claims it first wins it. think about what you do in that situation. It's amazing, okay? One, I talk about this a lot. You convey confidence to the buyer, okay? And you're also letting them know you're really reclaiming all the leverage, because someone offers you $275 and you already have another offer that came in at $325. You're already telling the person, sorry, you're too low. And now you're putting pressure on that person to say, listen, there's another offer out there. So now you sort of incentivize that person to have to make a quick decision on whether or not they're going to get it or not. They don't have time to hem and haw back and forth and wait a day on it, because they know, like something like this, I mean, this is custom. Like, you're not going to just find another one of these. And that's another thing, is this technique is most effective when you have something that somebody else can't just go out and get. Like, I'll just pull out a couple of these here, but I mean, you're just not going to find all these. I mean, this is 2 layers, like almost filled in this gigantic box here. And by the way, as an aside, I already know this is not going to cost me a lot of money to ship, because remember, DVDs can ship media mail. So that's real important. That's the cheapest way to ship, and it's totally legitimate to do that with DVDs. So what happens? Within about 5 minutes or less, that person who offered me the $275 paid the $350 for it. So there you go. Use that technique, play people off one another, reclaim the leverage in this situation, because it's really going to help you out. I've used that so many times to make big sales like that. And you know, it's more effective than it's not. I mean, you might have an occasional situation where neither party bites on it, but the vast majority of the time, it will work to get one of the parties to bite. And sometimes you're not just doing it with 1 or 2 people. You might do it with 3, 4, 5 people, you know, depending on how many offers come in, if you have a real popular item. So that's that one. Then the thing that, the sale that put it up to a $400 a day, which is, you know, just based on 2 items, which is awesome, is Michael Turner poster here. So this is Kiani, and really the most important thing to remember is not Kiani per se, it's the name Michael Turner. I've talked about him before on this channel, but he is famous for the comic series Fathom, and he passed away. Some people love his art. I know one guy loves his art so much and loves his comics so much that he literally won't sell anything that he has that's Michael Turner related. So now this one has the advantage of being double signed here on the bottom, and it being a limited edition print. So there are only 100 of these made, and this is number 75, which is also cool. You know, sometimes the numbers are neat to look at. Like if you have number 1 of 100 or 100 of 100 or 75 of 100, for some people that might make a little bit of a difference in terms of them wanting like a cool number like that, you know, to kind of, you know, divides it off into chunks of 25 if there's 100. Some people like that stuff, 25, a 50, things like that. So with regards to small posters like this, I couldn't resist. I reached deep down into that poster box that I've shown you, which has some of those small posters on the bottom. No one's been picking them out anyway for poster polls, so I decided to do a little reorganization and see what those things were. It just amazes me. I love when I could just do treasure hunts in my own place when I just don't even know, I like forgot that I had a certain thing that was valuable. And it's this Michael Turner poster right here. Oh, you can't see it. I'm going to reveal it a little bit later in the show, but I will tease you and tell you that this one is also signed. It's a limited edition out of 100, and it comes with an official certificate of authenticity. So I'm excited to get this one listed today because I always do well with Michael Turner stuff. So 2 other sales that I made today, they were $10 a piece. The first one I'm going to show you, I want to thank Pam Lambros for in the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. She picked up Wonder Woman #1 and Superman #1 from the Rebirth series through DC. I highly recommend looking for things with the Rebirth title on them because they often do convert to some good value when you're trying to flip these online, especially if you could buy them in bulk and if you could find a complete series, or trade paperbacks that contain compilations of them. But thank you, Pam. She's a big Wonder Woman collector. She purchased this through a seller support event that I ran in the Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. If you're not a member there, you are seriously missing out. It's free to join. I do these seller support events all the time. There's a themed event every day that someone could take part in for free. People make sales through that. We just hit over 18,000 members in that group. It's crazy. It's just growing at a really fast pace, and I'd love for you to be part of it. So come on by and join. One other sale here. By the way, the link to that's down in the description section. Right here, you remember I pulled this postcard out. This is of the smelter in Copper Hill, Tennessee. I just pulled this out the other day, sold for 10 bucks. So right around where I thought it would sell for. And we're going to get that one off as well. We're also going to go over to Postcard Land and pick out another 2 postcards. Let's see what we can find over there to list. All right, well, we're back in Postcard Land. Let me show you the 2 vintage postcards that I decided to pick out. They are both black and white, and they both come from an international location. So this is the first one over here. This is a postcard of Shaftesbury, and that is in the county of Dorset, and it's the Tout Hill region. How do I know that? Well, I'd have to bring this maybe a little bit closer for you to see, because I've mentioned before on these real photo postcards to look down below and to check to see if you could find anything in terms of any print that identifies the location, and this does as well. Now you will see there's a little number in the beginning which would look like it's a street address, but it's not. That's actually the number of the postcard, and at the very end, it might be a little tricky to see, it says Judges. That's the place that actually made the postcard. This is not the only one. I have seen others of these that have sold in the past with this exact picture. It is a well-known location on this street. You can see here it says Postcard picture. It doesn't have the entire stamp on it, but as I've mentioned before, as long as it's a cool vintage picture. This one dates back to 1955. It's going to be okay. I've sold ones in which the entire stamp has fallen off, like the next one that I am going to show you. And by the way, a little message here, just talks about visiting England and having some fun doing that. This one I actually like more, even though Niagara Falls postcards don't tend to sell too well. This one I think could sell for around $10, and I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, it is a nice vintage postcard, dates back to 1904, so it's over 100 years old. And I like the fact that it was actually mailed from Niagara Falls. That's cool. Now, you could see here, it's showing the Canadian side of the falls. At least it's referencing that right there. And so that's a little bit different, because a lot of times when you see these, they're talking about the American side of the falls. Now, a lot of people think that Niagara Falls, if you haven't been around here in the New York area and have gone over there, a lot of people think that the Niagara Falls is just you know, in the United States, but it's not. There's American Falls, and then there's a Canadian side of the falls, particularly Horseshoe Falls. Now, what's interesting is that if you've ever gone over to Niagara Falls in the winter time, what you'll know is that it does freeze. And so what actually used to happen is that there used to be people who would congregate over an area that would bridge both of the falls together, and they call it Snowy Ice Mountain. And so you could actually walk over from one side of the falls to the other across a bridge of ice. Well, one time in 1912, there were some people standing on this bridged area, and a piece of ice fell down, and it started to separate the area where people were standing on, and people fell down and they died. And ever since then, it has not been allowed to walk across the Snowy Ice Bridge. So this dates before that, being 1904. And the really cool thing I like about this is that, you know, if you know, Niagara Falls is known as the honeymoon capital of the world, so it's associated with love and romance. And right here we have something that says someday we shall enjoy this together. And it's signed by Jim, and he mailed it out to Miss Loretta Hennessy. So I am going to market this as a love letter or a love message. So that's something you could do sometimes. Market the message on a postcard to increase value. So I hope you enjoyed seeing both of those. We're going to get those listed and see what happens with them. All right, here it is. This is the unveiling of the Michael Turner print. This is amazing. It's even better than the one I just showed you that sold for $50. The one I sold for $50 was also a limited edition out of 100, like this one is. That other one was signed by Michael Turner, and it was also signed by artist Peter Steigerwald, just like this one. But this one is also signed by Corey Turnbull, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. Plus, I just like this print better. I just think this is a nicer image, and I'm really excited about this one. I cannot wait to get this listed. Triple signed, COA, awesome piece. That's about it for today, except for one important thing. I am going to try a special drink that I have here to the side. This is a drink that I purchased from my main man, Troy Shockley, from over at Mountain Man Treasures. And so I bought this to support him in a recent seller event that I have in my Facebook group. And as you can see here, it is not open. I've never tried these before. They do have them in a Walmart near me. They only come out through Walmart. And so it is Mountain Dew Frostbite. As you can see, I've got my Mountain Dew shirt on. That is my drink of choice. I'm going to crack this open for the first time right now. I got it nice and cold. Going to taste it and see what it's like here. So let's crack this open. All right. It's blue, I think. I love the shark on it. Let's see how it is. It's definitely good. It's like a berry taste. Definitely good. I really enjoy it. Thank you very much. And if you want more of these, Troy does have them in his store. So look up Mountain Man Treasures. So he sells them by the can. Well, thanks, Troy. Mountain Man and Mountain Dew, cheers to you. I hope everyone enjoyed the tips on the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you at the next one, everyone. Take care. So, Daisy, this is called Mountain Dew. You want to have some? Should I get you hooked on the dew, Daisy? What do you think? You want to try some? Yeah? I'll put this in your water bowl instead. I don't think Mrs. Primetime would like that too much. Maybe I should take a poll in the group. Should I put Mountain Dew in Daisy's water bowl for the next episode? Let's see what people say. Maybe I'll put that up in the community tab. Let's see how that would look there. Daisy and the Dew.